And welcome to this short class focused on strengthening your inner thighs using yoga. It'll be really helpful if you have a yoga block for this session. So to get started, we're going to lie on our backs in our Shavasana or corpse pose. So with our feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, shoulders relaxed on the ground, palms facing up, letting the feet hang out to the sides wherever they land. And just starting to bring your attention to your breath here. So breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Starting to feel some calmness and settling. Bringing that focus to the breath. Perhaps lengthening and deepening that breath a little bit now. Just bringing the attention back to the breath if it's wandered. Starting to bring some awareness back to your body now, wriggling the fingers and your toes, perhaps taking a full body stretch. We're going to roll onto one side, using our hand as a pillow. I'd like you to grab your foot with your hand, if that's accessible to you, to find a stretch down the front of this thigh. So again, just working, using your breath if it feels pretty tense, and perhaps kicking that foot into your hand a little bit. Releasing that foot now, rolling onto your front. So finding that Sphinx pose, pressing the palms of your hands into the floor, and really raising your chest up, so keeping your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Just finding a gentle back bend and just breathing it into this pose now. And then gently rolling over onto the opposite side. You're going to find the stretch on the opposite leg. So again, bringing that palm to your hand. So again, finding the stretch, perhaps kicking that foot into your hand. Just finding a stretch down the front of the upper thigh. Gently releasing, rolling back onto your front, and then rolling yourself upright, pushing your bum back towards your heels to find your child's pose. From your child's pose, gently rolling yourself upright. I'd like you to find a seated position with your knees bent in front of you, perhaps using the palms of your hands to support, keep your spine nice and upright. And I'd like you to let your left knee out towards the side, before you gently come back upright. And again, the right knee out towards the side, gently come back upright. And using your breath with this, exhaling out, inhaling back to center, exhaling out, inhaling back to center, exhaling out, inhaling back to center, exhale out, inhaling back to center. Then coming through to find your cat-cow, grounding your hands, the palms of your hands into the floor, fingertips spread nice and wide, and press into your hands, finding an arch in your shoulders as you tuck your abdomen in, tuck your tailbone under in your angry cat, and then floating the hips up to the sky, bringing the abdomen down towards the floor, bringing your shoulder blades back and together, and bringing your neck through last to find your cow. And just working with this spinal roll all the way up and down your spine as we start to warm up the back. From there, bringing your palms a palm distance forward, tucking the toes under, and coming upright into downward facing dog. Focusing in this pose on your spine being level rather than your legs being straight. Perhaps bringing a bit of movement, so perhaps bending one knee, straightening the other, or bringing both knees to center and using those hips to push up, back, and down. From here, bringing your right foot in between your hands, helping it through if required, untucking the back toe, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. I'd like you to find an interlace behind. Again, perhaps tucking the tailbone under to help you find a stretch down the front of the back quad. Gently releasing the arms, giving them a little shake, grounding the fingertips either side of the front foot, tucking the back toe under, stepping back into downward facing dog. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring your left foot in between your hands. And bringing those arms back to find the opposite interlace on this side. Again, tucking the tailbone under to find a stretch down the front of this thigh. Releasing those arms, giving them a little shake. Bringing the hands either side of the front thigh, tucking the toes under, and stepping back into your downward facing dog. Gently walking the feet up towards the hands, finding yourself in a forward fold. Before gently, super slowly rolling yourself upright into a standing position. Finding your mountain pose at the top of your mat, rolling your shoulders up, back and down, your palms facing the front either side, and grounding into your toes with a slight bend to the knees. Again, just checking that your spine is nice and extended up towards the sky as you're pressing down into your feet. From here, I'd like you to find your block, and then you're going to pop it in between your thighs. From here, from your mountain pose at the top of your mat, I'd like you to put the weight into your heels as you sink back, finding your chair pose. Option to inhale your arms up and over, or you can leave them on your hips today. This will provide some extra kind of pressure or weight. And you're looking to find ensure that the weight is going back towards your heels as you're like sitting down in this pose. So really clenching your inner thighs with this block, really feeling those thumbs switch on. Gently inhaling those arms down, exhaling, coming back up. I'm going to do that one more time. So option, take the block out, give a little wiggle, shimmy and a shake. Before you pop the block back in. And again, rolling those shoulders up, back and down, bringing those hands to the hips to start with, pushing your weight back into your heels as you sit down, keeping that chest nice and strong and proud as you then perhaps inhale the arms up either side, checking that the shoulders haven't risen up towards the ears. Again, really feeling the burn on the inner thigh here. Before you inhale, bring everything back up to center, releasing that block. I'm going to gently inhale your arms up, exhale over into forward fold. Not going to stay here long. We're going to bend the knees and come down, coming on to our back. Again, keeping that block handy. You're keeping your knees about hip distance apart. Your heels are quite close to your bum. And then pop the block again on this kind of setting. So it's this way around, in between your legs. And you're going to start to tilt your pelvis upwards. So starting to feel a little bit of pelvic lift. So start first of all by every time you inhale, bring it back up. Exhale that back down to the ground. Starting to make that movement a little bit bigger. before you gently, eventually bring yourself all the way up into your bridge pose, pressing your fingertips and forearms down into the earth, pressing into your heels, and really pressing everything up, feeling a stretch along the whole of the front body. And then this pressure in between your thighs as you're using your thighs to grip that block. And then gently exhale, super slowly, and roll everything back down, starting from the very top of your spine and rolling down the whole of your spine and releasing and letting the block go. I'm going to do that one more time, this time without the block. So I want you to almost feel in your inner thigh that you're using the block still. So feel that kind of switch on, feel that fire between your legs as you really press into your heels. Feel that pelvis lift up and off the floor, pressing into the hands as you find it, and really focus in on that tension in the inner thigh area. And really pressing everything up, feeling a stretch along the whole of the front body. Exhale, super slowly, and roll everything back down, starting from the very top of your spine and rolling down the whole of your spine. And just let your spine settle here. Just notice how your thighs, how your spine, how your whole body's feeling. Perhaps hugging your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. Before you roll over onto your side, coming upright, coming into a kneeling position. Again, option to pad your knees here, so if you've got a hard floor or anything going on, you can absolutely pad your knees. Otherwise, I'd like you to bring your knees hip distance apart or a little bit closer together, rolling those shoulders up, back and down, pressing the tops of your feet into the floor, really sucking your tummy in here, starting to feel this strength and length through the spine going up. And then I'd like you to bring your hands to the small of your back and then start to push your hips forward and find a curve. It's almost like your chest is going up and over a barrel. Again, keeping that neck in line with the spine, finding our camel pose. And gently coming out of this pose. And I'd like to do that again one more time with the block. So again, popping the block in between your thighs. Just notice the difference as to when you, again, find those hands in the small of the back. Pressing in, so tucking the tummy and pressing those thighs together as you push those hips up and over, your chest up and over a barrel. See if you can really feel those inner thighs switch on. And not holding your breath in this pose, keeping it fluid, evenly going in and out through the nose. Next time you inhale, you're going to come up, releasing the block, and gently coming into a child's pose. Gently rolling yourself upright. You have an opportunity to do that one more time and perhaps extend it into a full camel pose. So if you haven't done this before, then take a look and perhaps take a pause, have a look, rewind and do it again with me. Or if this is part of your practice, I'd like you to start doing it with me straight away. So I'm going to pop a block in between your thigh. Again, rolling those shoulders up, back and down, finding that nice alignment with the spine, bringing your hands to the small of your back. And this time I'd like you to tuck your toes under. Again, pressing that chest up and over that barrel. Option to stay here, or you're going to see if you can find the heels. Again, using that block, that inner thigh pressure. To come out, you're going to gently bring the hands back to the small of the back and use it to support you to come up and over. From there, I'd like you to roll onto your back now. Bringing your knees into your chest and rocking from side to side just to release any tension in the lower back. And then when you're ready, You're going to exhale your legs over to one side and just let them rest there. So try not to force them or do anything. We have a tendency to force our legs over into position. See if you can release anything here. Finding a nice spinal twist. Option to have your arms out in a T shape or in cactus arms if there's less space around you. Holding it for a few more breaths here before you inhale your knees back up to center and exhale over to the opposite side. Again, perhaps playing with where your arms are as you're trying to relax and release with every breath into the floor. Perhaps closing your eyes, allowing yourself to rest a little. And bringing an inhale and bringing those knees back up to center. Any additional hugs before you lengthen those legs out and down into the corpse pose and gently releasing into the floor with every breath. Bringing that attention back to your breath and using every exhale to feel a little bit heavier. When you're ready, you're going to roll over onto one side and gently come up to a comfortable seated positioning. When you're there, perhaps inhaling your arms up and round, allowing your fingertips to meet above your head. You want to exhale them down to your chest. And then bow your head to your hands, feeling your mind and body connect. And just take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time to practice today. And I'd like to thank you very much for practicing with me. If you like this class and like to practice with me again, you can check out my class timetable in the description below this video. I hope to see you again soon.